Okay, great. Let's get started. So today is Wednesday, 20th of January, and this is the Metal3 community meeting. So as usual, we are going to start with a short round of introductions. If there are new people in the call who might have been attended but want to introduce themselves to the community, then I'll take a short break now, and you can, if you want, unmute yourself and talk. Okay, if there's nobody, then let's dive in right away. So the first topic is from Himanshu. And Himanshu, floor is yours.
Yeah, I guess. And so I'm working on a bare metal operator deep dive presentation right now. And I don't know if you remember, but sometime back, I worked on a metal cube presentation or high level overview. And I had shared that with the community via my Gmail account. And again, like right now, kind of following a similar path here. But so I wanted to bring up a discussion regarding a better way to collaborate so that even if some design gets changed or any updates are there which might require us to update those presentations, like we have a better way to do that. And again, like sharing it via personal or Gmail accounts, I think might create some issues down the line for the content. So like Reveal.js is one option. I mean, like there could be plenty others, but just wanted to get opinions if somebody have any ideas, like what could be an option to do that. Ideally, something that can be contributed to a repository which we can keep track of via versions, etc. So something like that. So maybe like contribute in the Metal3 docs repository and the representations directory at some point under that. So that was kind of what I wanted to bring up for discussion. And another point was, if anyone has given any presentations recently for Metal3 project, which they can, it's possible to make them public, then uh, I will like to request that, as well as I mean, like if we are able to decide a proper way to collaborate, then possibly port them to, we can work on porting them to their particular format, so that so yeah.
Dmitry here. I have used Review.js quite extensively. It's not bad, although I don't entirely enjoy writing HTML. I know some folks using various products. I pasted one of them that convert to structured text or markdown into slides. That may be an option.
Yeah. So did I understand you correctly that you're really not thinking that something like the Google Slides, where we would be sharing with the Metal3 Dev Google group, would be sufficient for this?
Well, I'm trying to reduce my reliance on Google. Also,
No,
keep in mind
sorry,
that Google is not friendly for.
I meant him mentioned not. It was not not with regard to your comment, Dmitry. Sorry for that. Well, anyways, if there's no further comments on this, probably the best option would be like to give it a try and see like how this tool would look like, and like maybe make a PR with the whatever can be committed from a kind of a test presentation, and then we can probably discuss this further here or on the mailing list, depending on who is attending the call. Sorry. And
Andrea speaking. Sorry, no, just
yeah.
one comment on this point. I think it's a good idea. Let's give it a try. It would be interesting to have a shared way to propose and prepare presentations that could be shared in the community. So I think it's a good idea to give it a try and see how it works.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know, Himanshu, are you planning to like do some kind of a test presentation or something to like show how that would look like?
Yeah, of course. I will do a test presentation via that. Maybe like put a couple of slides from my previous presentation and see like how that looks, and that might give us some idea like if this idea looks good or not. Because I mean, like in the current format, I feel that the presentations are not reaching many people. Like I don't think like they are reachable in the sense that if people want to look up, like they might have to look in the mailing list wherever to search like if there was such a presentation shared. But having them in a single place would be really good to collaborate as well as to make them useful for folks planning to present in a conference or in any other place.
Yeah, that's very good. Very good. Thank you.
And the second like would be probably like not urgent, but like if anyone has any presentations, I'll just encourage them to share if possible in the mailing list at this point. But once we decide on a tool, maybe like we can work on forwarding them, including them as part of presentations there.
Yeah, I'll definitely forward this request to Feroz. He could not make it today, but he has done the couple of slides of the previous presentation that we had, for example, for the CNCF webinar, or like the CONCIF contributors, like this Ask Me Anything question session.
Thanks. Yeah, that will help. Yeah, I will contact him.
Good, thank you. And is there any further comments or questions on this point? Okay, there's quite a lot of noise coming from your side, Himanshu. Okay, well then let's move on to the following point. That was mine. I have been a bit like thinking about the format of this those meetings, and that they are a really good place for the discussions. We're having like a lot of them, but they don't give that much visibility on everything that is going on in the community. So I was wondering if we would add at the beginning of the meeting a small section where we would like proceed with some kind of like an update rounds on everything that would be work in progress. So like anybody could tell, yeah, I'm working on this or trying to do that, or like, yeah, that would maybe give a better view of what's going on everywhere in the community, whether it's like Red Hat, Ericsson, Dell, like Fujitsu, wherever. So I would like to propose to add such a section, and maybe like at the end of this meeting we could like do a tryout kind of round to see if that would be bringing any value or not, or like see what you think about that.
Sorry, do you mean something like when we did triaging for issues, but just for the open PR?
No, not even like it doesn't have to be related to any PR. You can just say like, yeah, I'm like at the moment like working on doing this, like kind of a high level point, right? Like saying like, yeah, I'm refactoring this part of the bare metal operator because of this reason or that reason, or like I don't know, like something high level, just to give an insight on what is being worked on in the community.
Yeah, got it.
It's a good idea actually. That will help us make that progress or really better understand what's going on.
Yeah, I also think it's a good thing.
Okay, then maybe we can try, like, I'll add after the point, like rather as the last point, like and kind of like updates round to try it once and see the opinion on this, and see if we should do it like every week, or like if there are some opinions on this. Good. Is there any further comments or questions on this point? No, so I guess Himanshu, it's back to you.
So in like recently, I have been facing some issues with Metal Cube deployment using the development environment repository. So basically, if you open the issue, like we have some discussion already there, and so basically, what's happening is when after running make, you have the Minikube and everything else set up, and when I after that, like further, when I try to deploy control plane after a cluster, like it's failing and gets stuck in the provisioning state, and we facing this issue where like the config is missing for some reason. So although the CI test part of the repository is passing, but I don't know like if the CI tests do have all those things like running those provisioning scripts or not. But Feruz did give it a try, and he says that the kube config version is 1.19, which is in my case strangely is 1.20 20. So I have tried a couple of fresh deployments, retried those, and just to see if maybe my setup has an issue or not. But every time I'm seeing this same config version. So I don't know like what's failing, but just wanted to see if somebody else is seeing similar issue or on latest deployments or not. Although that deployment was passing fine just a few weeks back when Pep did a demo for, I think, for the webinar.
Okay, I'm not sure there's many people actually like deploying CentOS with the scripts in Metal3 Dev, and like a CentOS cluster. I mean, those scripts are really pretty much only for CI, as far as I know. But yeah, if they're not working, they should be like should be fixed.
Yeah, so I don't know like what exactly. I'm just investigating the code to see where it's happening, because the Kubernetes version is set as 1.19.3 inside the configs that I'm using, but still like the deployment goes ahead and deploys 1.20. So
do you have somewhere the cloud init logs, like this cloud init output.log?
let me get that like
That would be really helpful to debug what's happening there.
so where can I find those?
If you log in on the node that you deployed,
Okay,
then in varlog, well, yeah, I guess it would be the for CentOS the same. You should be in varlog, a file called cloud-init-output.log.
just a sec. Varlog.
Yeah, there should be a cloud init output.
Cloud init file.
Yeah, in the target node that you're trying to deploy.
So I have boot log, I have DNF librepo logs, it's hockey, last log, mail log, messages, but I don't see cloud init log here. I mean, like it's a physical machine actually, like where I'm.
Well, let's maybe discuss that further on the issue to not like go into like debugging into this into this
Yeah.
meeting,
Make-
but yeah, we definitely need to find out the cloud init output
Sure.
to see what's happening
Yeah.
there.
We can take the discussion on the Slack channel.
Yeah. Great.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Then thank you for this. Let's move on to the next point, and that's Arvinder's.
Hello, just another request. I know one additional person reviewed the design doc last time, but if other folks could review it as well, that would be great.
Isn't it in a state now that we can just I mean, the lazy consensus was, if I recall correctly, supposed to be passed already, right?
Yeah, I think we agreed that we should get the lazy consensus. I don't know, a week ago or something like that. So if there's not any more of the comments getting from anywhere, should we agree to have a lazy consensus?
Yeah, the last change was 7 days ago, so I think it's probably okay to merge it. Is there anybody opposing to this? Like Zane, you had a couple of comments, were they addressed, or from your point of view?
I have not read since the replies to my comments, so I will have a quick look after this.
Okay, cool.
The tests seem to be failing. Is that expected, or?
Great. Then, Arvinder, maybe let's still postpone a bit, maybe a couple of days more, and then if it's okay for Zane, we probably can merge it.
I'll have a look. I don't think it's anything quickly. Very well.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other points that you would want to discuss in this meeting before trying this update round proposal? Anything more for the discussion round?
For this proposal, no, I have a POC. I can open a PR for that soon as well. It's basically using this annotation approach on the Metal3 cluster object. But I can open a PR for that as well, maybe in parallel if people want to review that.
Sure. Thank you.
But yeah, that's it from me. I didn't have anything else on this topic. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Then let's maybe try to give this this updates round, to give you an idea of what's happening around the around the different companies involved and the different people in the project. Is there someone who wants to start maybe 1 or 2 minutes max, on very high level explaining what they have been working on and what's going on? Maybe I know, for example, Furkat, you've been working on the making Metal3 event work for testing multiple let's say large scale clusters. Do you want to say a word on this?
Sure. Hey, it's Furkat here. Yeah, I've been working on with my teammate on ironic scalability in Metal3, and actually I forgot to ask, since Dimitri is here, I had a couple of questions. I don't know if I can ask here or maybe after this round ends. So basically we are working on ironic scalability in Metal3. So far we have tested it with 42 nodes being able to successfully provisioned. And we have some further work to do. So basically, like, we are trying now to see how basically to see how the Ironic behaves as a number of nodes increases, because we have seen in our test bed that as number of nodes increasing, inspection time is somehow increasing, and it takes a bit more time. For example, where in one of the test cases where we had 42 nodes, it took around like 15 minutes to inspect all of them, but for image provisioning it took like 5 minutes or so. So we were wondering, like, what could be the root cause for that, or it's just normal. And also we were looking into the is there any like tools that we could use, take advantage of, to see the performance metrics, like CPU, RAM, or network that Ironic people use internally, or like any idea is welcome, like basically for the performance metrics to see what's going on and how we can improve further.
Let me try to answer both. Actually, I can answer maybe only the first question, but I think what you're seeing with 15 minutes of inspection and 5 minutes of deployment is a thing called fast track, which essentially means that after inspection, the RAM disk is running and your deployment does not start the RAM disk again. Especially on bare metal, 5 minutes. 5 minutes just is how much a normal bare metal server takes to boot, to go through post stage and check memory and stuff. So probably that's what happens for you. 15 minutes is node booting plus Ironic Python agent starting plus inspection running, while 5 minutes of deployment is just the deployment itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As to the second question, I recommend you ask CERN folks, because they have pretty extensive monitoring for Ironic. And just come to OpenStack Ironic, ask Arne. I think one of you already talked to him.
Yeah, that would be good. Yes, thank you very much.
Andrea speaking. Furkat, I don't know if you already had the chance to look at, maybe it could be interesting in the scope of your point. We were working on a PR to limit the number of hosts simultaneously provisioned. The PR is in a pretty advanced state, just to avoid issues when deploying a huge number of nodes simultaneously. So maybe it could be interesting for you also to, as a side point, to have a look at it.
Yeah, thanks, Andre. Yeah, I think I've been. Thanks. I will have a look there as well. Thank you.
Just one update here. Miss 15 minutes and 5 minutes is very fast timing, actually speeding. So I don't see if there would be any approach which will take less than that. So is there an approach which will take less than time than that?
What's your question? Was it a question or?
No, my question is, I think it is the fastest timing. I think for us it took more than 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But for in your case, it took a little bit faster than that. I'm also going to try one deployment, 20 or 30 nodes, and this week or next week, I'll come up with some timing. I'll measure that time.
Sure. Yeah, that would be good also, because we are trying it on the, in our infrastructure in cloud, so in the VMs. So maybe it may be different on actual hardware.
Okay.
As an anecdote, I know people who are using Ironic on nodes with terabytes of RAM, and these nodes take 30 to 40 minutes just to go through the post stage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Dimitri, and everyone. Mile, I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Folkat, for the update. Is there someone else who wants to keep rolling? Jan?
Hello, Ravi here from Capsule. So we have like two PRs waiting for merge request, 147 and 152. So right now, few of the Metal3 members have reviewed it already and given the review comments. I request if someone also review our PRs.
Sorry. So, like we are, this is Sumit from the same org. So, what we are saying is that we are already have a mechanism in place for SWCC, and we are trying to extend this with the new parameters. So like yesterday we received LGTM from Jan, but but that is actually in Word. So probably with proper labels it would help.
Okay. Would you mind maybe like just saying a few words about the new parameters that you're trying to, like which parameters are you trying to add in the?
It's system vendor and firmware and disk and NIC parameter. So in system disk, NIC, system vendor and firmware.
So sorry, just trying to type things. So the disk and NIC parameters and the firmware parameters also.
Firmware and system vendor.
Firmware / system vendor.
Okay.
So for disk and NIC, we already had provided some sort of support, like in terms of count and size. We are trying to extend with now the vendor name, and for disk, we are trying to select the disk combinations based on the whether it's an independent disk, maybe it's a SDD or SSD, or it is a RAID disk basically. So that extension we are providing. And on the firmware side, like we are giving a logic, like we can select the node based on the current firmware versions, because every firmware is associated with some sort of features in that particular version. So we can select the nodes for deployment when the matching one is found based on the firmware. So here, like the discussion is going on for like providing additional support of keeping like Digambar gave review comment about major and the minor version. So in between the range also we should be able to provide or select the nodes as a matching to the required parameters. So that logic we are working on right now.
Okay. I approved that patch. So I did a LGTM for that.
Yeah. So yesterday,
LGTM label on it.
Yeah. But there are two patches, right? Another one,
yes.
It's in my review list. I'll review it today or tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, that will be helpful.
And 152.
Yes. Mail, if you could go a little down on the like 13th January MON, there we have that listed. We can simply copy paste if you want. Yeah, here itself.
For the first one. The first one. Up.
At the start of the meeting, Ashu has put those two links. So probably
I can put them there too.
Yes. So two parameters are covered in one, and other two parameters are covered in the second one. So kind of this is the.
Okay. Thanks a lot for the update.
Thank you.
Then, Jan, I see you have your hands up.
Yes.
Do you want to give an update or something?
Yeah, I can give an update. I've been working quite a long time now with the new controller core remediation controller. The actual proposal got merged. It was probably last summer or something like that. And this is kind of related to the automated remediation of the nodes and the machine objects that we have in our cluster. The reason the controller is still undergoing the certain development or the work because I needed to also add in cluster API machine health check the feature that when if we want to run a automated health check into the clusters, we can use cluster API machine health check to check all the machine objects. and it basically what it does, it sees that some of the machine objects don't have a node, for example, or there's no communication in the infrastructure provider's specific machine or the node, actual Kubernetes node. And when this machine health check sees this, it can produce the infrastructure provider specific remediation request based on the remediation request template. And when this request is generated, for example, in CAP-M3 case, I'm working on the new controller that reconciles these remediation requests. Currently, it's just trying to reboot our servers and see if we can fix the issue there. If we cannot, we go into the deletion of the machine object, which in our case will starting the deprovisioning of the unhealthy node. And but I was thinking, because I already kind of implement the controller, I still need to add some tests. If I have time for the next week's community meeting, I can prepare a demo about how this controller, if folks are interested to see how this controller and also how the cluster API machine health check can see the unhealthy machines on our cluster. So I can prepare a demo if folks are interested.
Yeah, a demo would be really great to have.
Yeah, well, okay, I can try to do a demo next Wednesday of this. So it's kind of, even before I open a PR for the actual implementation, I can give you a demo and probably short after that to open the actual PR. So let's say I will give the demo next Wednesday.
Okay, great. Thank you. Is there someone else who wants to give an update on what they are doing?
I can do that. I'm working on two things. One thing is already had a design proposal. It's to be able to reset iDRAGs and potentially iLoads as well early in the enrollment process. It needs some changes in Ironic, so it's not progressing fast. But I think the design document is worth more eyes. I'll paste it. If you stop typing for a second, I'll paste the URL, okay?
Sure.
Okay, gone. The other thing I'm working on, it doesn't yet have any code in our repositories, but it's my immediate plans, is automatically turning secure boot on and off for Redfish, yeah.
So sorry, turning secure boot on and off automatically, right?
Yeah, before the instance is started, so.
Okay. No, okay, sorry, just go on for that.
Sorry.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I can go next. Andrea already mentioned I was finalizing the PR on limiting the number of hosts. That was PR started last year with the intention to avoid the issues in those situations where you want to deploy hundreds and hundreds of nodes simultaneously. And so after having discussed the proposal merged in the Metal3 IO docs, the idea was to implement a simple, even if not perfect, heuristics to determine the current stress level status of Ironic and those limiting in the bare metal operator the provisioning activity. Another small task that I was working on, but I think could be interesting in general, was trying to improve the log traces for troubleshooting. I noticed that sometimes it's not very easy to understand what happened by looking just at the log traces, due to the fact that there could be some noises or maybe actions not being described properly. And so I started it with a very small task, but maybe it could be something that could be interesting also for others. Thanks.
Great, thank you very much. Is there someone else who wants to bring their updates or so?
I can go. So, like my update was kind of already covered in the previous discussion about the presentation. So that's what I'm working at this point. So basically, I will be creating a PR on of a demo presentation and see how that goes, and decide on a plan to move further down on the line for that. So other than that, right now I have have been working on a bare metal operator presentation for some time, and once this proposal has conclusion, then I will port that in that format and create another PR for that, hopefully, and then kind of collaborate by that, get it reviewed.
So
Yeah.
Himanshu, like
Okay,
just a question that the nodes you talk about, you are working on the VMs, is it? The virtual nodes, not the real ones.
Which node? Oh, you mean for the Metal Cube Devon issue?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm running the development environment on a real host.
Okay, but like after that, when we say the other nodes, right, the test nodes where we create the cluster, so those nodes are VMs or?
Oh yeah, those are VMs. Like by the default development environment creates libvirt VMs, right? So
Okay.
those.
Okay, because like we were working on Ubuntu environment, and like we saw no issues with the real node setup as well, like real the cluster nodes.
Okay.
So there we don't have any issue as such. So probably CentOS.
Probably, yeah. Could be. Yeah, I didn't give it a try. Give it a try on Ubuntu as well. So that could be an issue on CentOS
Okay, yeah.
specific
So
issue.
just not to update it. We are working on Ubuntu, and recently we verified it a couple of days back. So
okay, thanks.
No issues. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. There's someone who wants next to be giving an update.
I'm doing random stuff as usual. Mostly fixing bugs around re-registration when we lose the Ironic database, and trying to get those all squared up. I think we're getting closer, I think. So that's the main thing. I think in the medium term, there's a bunch of stuff that I'm not particularly working on, but that various people are working on, which is all seems connected. So adding the preparing state for the RAID stuff, Dimitri's proposal to have substates so that people can keep track of what actually is happening during provisioning, some of the stuff I'm doing around what happens when you have a failure. For example, when you fail to clean the node after deprovisioning. All of these things are kind of connected. And so I have vague plans to kind of dive into some of that stuff and trying to come up with a coherent plan for all of it. But I'm actually going to be out for a few weeks starting at the beginning of February. So if you don't hear from me for a while, that's why. But yeah, otherwise random bug stuff.
Okay, thank you. I hope, thanks Dimitri for adding that point. I hope I didn't miss anything else that in what you said. Otherwise, just feel free to add it in the document.
Yeah, will do. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, is there someone who wants to continue? Or did we go around like pretty much everybody? Well, that's already quite an exhaustive list of updates, so that's like really nice to see this. Now the question is, what do you think? Is it something that we should try to do on a regular basis? Did you think it like brought value to see like what's happening there, or did you already know pretty much just by checking the PRs or something like this? So is this something we should do more in the meetings, or is it something that was not that great idea and we should probably not do it again?
I think this was really good. Just think that if we have I mean like many issues pending discussion, I mean like important PRs or something, then we can probably skip, maybe do it once in 2 weeks probably, depending on, I mean like if
I
there are
suggest,
any other.
yeah, I suggest good to keep this for every week, at least for 15 minutes, so that I will get to know everyone work.
I also think that this exercise can partially replace the requests for reviews that often happen as discussion topics. So instead of requesting a review, you just go through your status and mention that this thing is ready for review.
Right.
Maybe not all the weeks, but I think that maybe once every 2 weeks or so, it's good to do an exercise like that could help also in connecting the dots across all the ongoing activities.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
So I guess one downside of this is that people who aren't here synchronously at the meeting don't get heard, which is not ideal.
Sorry, Zane, I didn't really get your point.
So people who can't be here at the meeting to talk about stuff synchronously are kind of invisible.
Yeah.
We actually do the same thing downstream. We have like a weekly sync ups between our team, within our team. And what we do is just ask these people if they want their update to be heard, just to write it down before the meeting.
Very good point. And
So,
I guess
I mean,
as organization, people will probably have some knowledge of what, like, I mean, for example, in the Ericsson team, we pretty much know all who's working on what. So if someone cannot attend at a specific point, we can also give the updates for that person.
Agreed. Yeah, this sounds good idea. Okay, good idea.
Okay, then let's keep this here. Maybe we can combine the different points from Imanchu, Andrea, and Digambar saying that we'll have the round at the end of the meeting if the agenda allows us. Meaning that if 1 week, like it might not be every week basically, but when we have time, we'll do this. That will give us something in between the every week and like every other week, depending on the agenda. Jan, I see you have a hands up. Sorry.
Yes, I would like to add. For example, if we have this upcoming demo, we can probably skip this one, or if there's not enough things on the agenda, we can keep it. But like you said, we can combine this to be in there if there's enough space and time for that one. So yeah, I agree. This is a good thing, but we can sometimes skip for the demo or vice versa.
So just another point. Even if we don't have time to give out our updates personally, we can always include at least on the docs, right? So in those, maybe like we can keep at least updating the docs. I mean, like community docs, maybe bi-weekly with updates, even if we are not able to discuss. I mean, like give personal updates in the call itself.
Yeah. Did I capture your point as you meant it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then let's proceed like this. Is there any other like further comments or opinions on this point? Jan, do you still have your hand up because you forgot to put it down, or you have something to add?
Yes, I will put it down.
Okay, good. Then that was the last point of the agenda. So I guess we can conclude the meeting here. Thank you all for joining, and talk to you next week then.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Good night.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.